Class 8 pupils, welcome to our maths class. And remember, this was our Zoom meeting that we had last week. So some of you were not able maybe to catch up with the teacher because of some internet problems, but I've prepared a complete video tackling our topic, that is ratios and proportions. So if you're not there, there's no cause for alarm. What you do is you need to write these examples down afresh, because I have prepared these slides again for you. I want you to also, even if you were in the Zoom meeting, I've also changed the examples. So write afresh. It will help you to understand this topic from the beginning to the end. So this video summarizes everything that we are supposed to cover in this topic, that is ratios and proportion. So ensure you also check your examples and also change them where necessary, because right now we have now the complete video. So let's get started. Remember, we said that ratio is commonly used in comparing two or more numbers or quantities. For example, 6:7 or 6:7. So we are comparing them. Remember, we have two types of ratios. We have what we call increasing ratios and decreasing ratios. So if you see a ratio start with a smaller number like this, and then this one is bigger, this is a decreasing ratio. But if I change it to 7:6, it will now be referred to as an increasing ratio. So we have increasing ratio and decreasing ratios depending on how those two quantities or numbers are being shared. So ratio can also be converted to become a fraction, a decimal, and percentage, and also vice versa. Our first example was to convert 60% into a ratio. Remember, 60% is 60 over 100 as a fraction, but needs simplification. So anything about over a percent is over 100. So 60% is 60 over 100. So if you simplify 0 and 0, 6 over 10 by 3, by 2 is 3, by 2 is 5, you will get 3 over 5 as a simplified fraction. But then as a ratio, we don't write over, we say it is 3:5, or ratio 3:5. Remember, we start with the number at the top and not 5:3. I've seen some of you confusing. Anytime you are simplifying, you start with your number at the top. 3 over 5, 3:5. Another example, convert 12.5% into a ratio. Remember, this is a percentage. This one is not a fraction. 12.5% is a percentage and not a fraction. So the first thing I want to do is I want to convert it to become a fraction. How will I convert it? 2 times 12, 24 plus 1 is 25. 25 over 200. Where will I get my 200 from? Or where did I get my 200 from? It is because 2 is down here also, and also 100 is supposed to be here. Remember last example that we did, I told you percent means over 100. So it is 12.5 over 100, which is 25 over 2. 25 over 2, also 100 must be down here. It is 25 over 200. Now we start simplification. By 5 is 5. By 5 here is 40. We can also simplify by 5, 1 by 5, 8. So as a simplified fraction, it is 1 over 8. But as a ratio is 1:8, or 1:8. Someone can also ask you to express the ratio 2:5 into a percentage. This is now a ratio. We'll do the vice versa. It is 2 over 5 as a fraction. Then we multiply times 100. So you can see all these things are revolving around fractions. So 2 over 5 times 100, if you simplify by 5 here, 2 over 5 is 20. You'll get your percentage as 40%. Then we also learned about comparing and sharing ratios. In a class, the ratio of boys to girls is 5:3 respectively. Respectively here means boys is 5, girls is 3, in that order. Then what is the percentage of girls in that class? Remember, we have 2 people here, but we don't have the total. So if you arrange the ratios accordingly, you have boys 5, girls 3. If you add 5 plus the ratio of girls, which is 3, you'll get a total ratio of 8. So in case you want to find the percentage of girls, what do? You take the ratio, which is 3, then over total times 100. So it's the same as saying, you can say by 2 years 4 by 250, by 2 years is 2, by 2 year is what, 25. So 25 times 3 is 75. 75 divided by 2 is 37 and a half, or 37.5. Write it as a fraction like this. 37 all number 1/2%. That is the percentage of girls in that class. So you can simplify also and see which if you'll get 37.5. Take note that when you want to write this one as a fraction, you must get it the total, unlike the other one where they just given you to convert it as a percentage. So in this class, you must ask yourself, what is the ratio of everybody? Every pupil in this class, they amount to 8. So 5/8 and 3/8. Remember, 8 is now our total. So percentage is the ratio over the total, then multiply by 100. Don't forget that. Then also sharing. We also talk about sharing. In a farm, the ratio of cows to goats to sheep is 2:3:7 respectively. It means cows is 2, goats is 3, and sheep is 7. If there are 49 sheep, how many animals are there altogether? Can we arrange our ratios? Yes, we have cows, goats, and sheep. Cows is 2, that is their ratio. Goats is 3, sheep is 7. And if you add all these ratios, you have your total as 12. So pupils, make sure you arrange your work like this. It will make your work very easy, and even you will understand what you're doing. But if you don't arrange your work like this, you will find this question very challenging to you. But the moment you arrange your ratios like this, you can now read the question from here and understand what they are asking you. If there are 49 sheep, remember you have the ratio of sheep, which is 7. Then they are asking you, how many animals are there altogether? Very easy. You can say, if 7 as a ratio represent 49 animals or 49 sheep, what is the total, or how many animals are there altogether? So if 7 is equals to 49, what about 12? Then you cross multiply. 12 times 49 over 7. By 7 here is 1, by 7 is 7. And 12 times 7 is 84. So the total number of animals in that farm is 84. Also, you can also see a question like this, very common. James and Peter shared some money in the ratio of 4:9 respectively. So that means James is 4, Peter is 9. If Peter got 200 more than James, how much did James got? Very, very easy. Arranging our ratios, you have James, Peter, and also you have the total. So James 4, Peter 9. If you add 4 plus 9, you get 13. Then go back to the question. If Peter got 200 more, so this 200 is not for James, neither is it for Peter. It is more. So anytime you see the word more or less, you need to subtract these two ratios, because James got 4, Peter got 9, but now the difference in these two ratios will be equal to 200. So 9 minus 4 is 5. So if 5 is equal to 200, what about the question is asking us to find how much James got? So you just say, if 5 is equal to 200, what about 4? Why 4? Because we are finding the amount of money that James got. But if they say how much they share all together, you'll say, what about 13? If you simply cross multiply, 4 times 200 over 5 by 5 here is 1, by 5 here is 40. 4 times 40 is 160. Lucy and Jane shared some profit in the ratio 4:5 respectively. If Jane got 200 more, how much did Lucy got? also is the same thing. Lucy, Jane, and total. Arranging ratios accordingly. 4, 5, and 9 as the total. If you subtract, because it is 200 more, if 1 is equal to 200, what about 4 for Lucy? Because they are asking us. But then if I ask you, how much did they share all together? You will say, what about 9? And then you cross multiply. As easy as that. So if you cross multiply this one, it is 4 times 200 over 1, which is equals to 800 Kenyan shillings. Then, as I remind you also, the moment we start, we said we have what we call increasing and decreasing ratios. For example, someone can ask you to increase 2,000 in the ratio 5 is to 4. 5 is to 4 is an increasing ratio. So you just need to start with this 5 over this one, 5 over 4, then multiply by the quantity that you want to increase. Even if it is decreasing, they'll give you a decreasing ratio. They'll say decrease 2,000 in the ratio 4 is to 5. They'll start with 4. Because when they want you to decrease, they must start with a ratio that is smaller compared to the other. But because they want you to increase, they start with a ratio that is more than the other. So you just need to write your first ratio over your second ratio, then you multiply by the quantity that is there. So in this case, it is 5 over 4 times 2,000 by 4 here is 1 by 4 here is 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, then the 2 zeros, 2,500, very easy. Then also someone can ask you a very simple question like this. The price of milk increased from 72 shillings per liter to 96 shillings per liter. What was the ratio increase? So the keyword there is ratio increase, and I've told you increasing ratio, you start with the larger number or the larger value. So between 96 and 72, which one is bigger than the other? Is 96. So just need to write 96 over 72. Then we simplify, we'll get the ratio 96 over 72. If you simplify here by 2 is 48, by 2 is 36, by you can also say by 6 is 8, by 6 here is 6, by 2 is 4, by 2 here is 3. You can simplify anyway, and you'll get your simplified fraction as 4 over 3, which will give you the increasing ratio, that is 4 is to 3. Let's now move to proportions, and we also have two types of proportions. We have direct proportion, where you're supposed to cross multiply, and also indirect proportion. So if you see a question like this, you just need to cross multiply. A car uses 36 liters of petrol to cover 216 kilometers. How many liters of petrol does it require to cover 72 kilometers? Very, very, very easy. You just need to rearrange your work and ask yourself, if 216 kilometers was covered when someone was using 36 liters, what if the person now was taking or covering 72 kilometers? How many liters are required? So let's cross multiply. 72 kilometers times 36 over 216. You can simplify very easy. By 2 here, you can say 36. By 2 here is 108. 36 here is 1. By 36 here is 3. For 108, then 36 divided by 3 is 12. So you can simplify anyhowly and you'll get your answer. For the driver to cover 72 kilometers, the driver requires 12 liters. This is what we call direct proportion. You just need to cross multiply. Indirect proportion. So 25 men, when you see a question like this, don't make a mistake. We don't cross multiply here. And I've shown you how to tackle this question. Very, very easy and very common in exam. 25 men can dig a shamba in 18 days. How many more men are required to dig the same shamba in 15 days? So we have men and days. So 25 men, they took 18 days. Then they're asking us, the work now is supposed to take 15 days. You will take your 15 down here. Then you ask yourself, how many men are required? So just place a dash here. Don't cross multiply. I repeat, don't cross multiply. So after arranging your work like this, you don't need to cross multiply. Just take the values the way they are like this. It is 18 over 15 times 25. 18 over 15 times 25. Whatever you get here, come and write it here. Don't cross multiply. So if 25 men, they were taking 18 days, the question is asking us, how many more, a very key word for you to underline, how many more men are required to dig the same shamba in 15 days? So write your 15 here. Then you just take this one over this one times this one. Even if it was here, it is this one over this one times the value that is here. So 18 over 15 times 25 by 5 here is 3, by 5 here is 5, by 3 here is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So you need 30 men to do the same job in 15 days. But the question, if they don't use the word how many more, your answer is 30 men. But because they're telling us how many more men, you need to subtract 30 men minus 25 men. You need 5 more men. So don't forget to subtract when you see how many more or how many less, you must subtract. To our last example for today, 18 painters can paint a house in 10 days if 3 painters did not turn up for the job. All of you know English. If I say you did not turn up, it means you did not come. So how many more days did the remaining painters take to paint the house? Let's arrange our work first. Painters and days, we are talking about painters and days. So 18 painters take 10 days. Then the question is, if 3 painters did not turn up. So remember there were 18 painters, 3 did not come. So how many painters came? There were 15. So how many more days will they take? So first of all, let's just take this one over this one. It is 18 over 15 times 10. We don't cross multiply. We just write this one over this one times 10. By 5 here is 3. By 5 here is 2. By 3 here is 1. By 3 here is 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. So if they don't say how many more days, your answer is 12. But because they're telling us how many more days, we need to subtract days minus days. So it is 12 days minus 10 days. So pupils, that marks the end of our lesson. Very, very easy. Ratios and proportions. Remember last week also you did the work. And this video will also help you to understand more. So write all those examples in order and you will find them helpful when you're going to do exams. So that topic, I have finished it like that. Otherwise, I believe all of you now are in a position to understand this topic better. Have a good time.